Hello, anyone alive in 2025? Just kidding. Today I'm gonna talk about uh, the basics of our understanding on how we got here and maybe where we will go to. So the first word that we have here is intervention. So intervention uh, basically refers to our notion of God, the God overall, the quantum superposition, as I said in the past videos, right? Uh, so this kind of uh, uh, subject about God is just to expand it more, right? What is God who intervened to create everything? The purpose of creation is good, right? But afterward, it backfired, and then it becomes evil or bad. So yeah, God is the source, if we may say. They also say it's oneness, wholeness, or whatever name they just put there to have at least a inspiration to keep surviving and living. So I guess to refer back to imagination, if God is truly infinite and he needs more infinity, the God itself needs more infinity, then uh, from that cross-referencing the creation, then out of the darkness, the void, or the chaos, right? He cloned the piece of God itself, himself, herself, to create the creation. Yeah, so is God is infinite, yet it counters itself to becomes more even infinite. But then the backfire will be the bad side of the good, because creation defines the good things, and when the good things defines creation, it reflects back to the bad side, which is the evil, because good will be born later on, sooner or later, because change is constant, right? It's kind of finding its reasons own to live. Each piece uh, each piece in the universe needs the other self, right? So that is why I think that in intervention terms, God literally intervene with the non-existence to create good, but then it backfires and becomes pain, sadness, or evil. Becomes bad, really bad. Yes. So I think that's basics for the intervention thing. You intervene. What do we really mean to intervene? Uh, to set up the distance. For example, 1 and you want to go to 10 immediately. So you immediately does the addition thing. 1 plus 10 is equal 11, or 1 times 10 is equal to 10. Yeah, distance is so far that uh, you just want to do the thing to that thing, because maybe it's an experiment, a love, or a desires to cure your curiosity or boredom. Yeah, it's intervention. Additive and multiplicative. or maybe divisive in terms of getting it to downsize or small size. So I guess we're clear now for the basics of intervention and for the evolution. And it is simple, right? Evolution is slow growth. Yeah, slow growth, slow pace to evolve. Um, so they say, or they say they have the proof to uh, the evidence to support that life comes from the smallest things in life or the basic elements. Yeah, you need hydrogen, oxygen, and some certain elements to create a yeah, carbon based beings like us, humans, animals, plants. We thrive on carbon, exchanging those elements, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, and that's how we use this thing that we call the carbon dating, so we can identify the ages of these carbon life forms. But yeah, that's the limit. If there is a life form that is not based on carbon, exchanging elements with carbon, it thrives on its own and it canceled out the carbon itself, then maybe yeah, that's the exception of carbon dating, right? There's always an exception to things. um, even reality, we can say reality is absolute, but then yeah, we kind of hesitate if we will die, or we just transfer to the next dimensions. So at least before we born, we know nothing, and after we die, we will know nothing. We know that we will know nothing, and we will not be for sure. Will not be for sure that whatever is coming next, maybe we really transferred to the next dimensions or whatever it is. So for evolution, it is very slow growth, a combination of uh, patternized elements. We can see that in nature, right? It's very slow. What we call this adaptation things, yeah, it's adapt. And what science does now is hyper adaptations, the fast adaptation of things to uh, dangerous conditions. Yeah, it mutates everything, right? That's how I think this movie refers to the what you call Bigfoot, the King Kong, the Godzilla, the aliens, the predators, the dinosaurs, the yeah, Jurassic Park, yeah, the dinosaurs, the xenomorphs, yeah, those kind of movie. There's a lot of movie referring to the evolution uh, topic of things. Yeah, it just means hyper adaptation, fast adaptation. Maybe they already have it on their hands, right? We're just an experiment. This human experiments kind of thing, and maybe really this body, this pain of a human flesh, this cage of a body is really a byproduct of a hidden, yeah, hidden stuff. You can call it hidden government or alien government kind of a thing. Then it refers back to the intervention, but we're still talking about evolution. If we're going to talk about slow evolution, then Yeah, the slow patternization of things, the closest things to one another. But the fastest evolution seems to refer back to intervention because from one, then you got near to 10 immediately. Yeah, fast evolution. It will refer back to intervention. So I guess that's the referring back from evolution to intervention. The fast evolution term of things, right? So another idea of mine that about the history of Ice Age, i- if we really need to conclude that there are giants on the earth, um, maybe we are really just small humans. They were giant humans, right? If then Ice Age is kind of a mysterious things, if really Ice Age deactivates the giant genetics of us all, or because we human nowadays really lack a lot of things in ourselves, like self regeneration and self redirection. We cannot we cannot grow a missing amputated limbs, right? And if ever we heal ourselves, it doesn't heal normally. Like uh, if you if you got a scars, if you got a wound, it turned to scars, but then it doesn't heal fully like normal skin. Yeah, that is self redirection. So in growth of self redirection, if you got amputated limbs and if you can regenerate it, then the limbs will regenerate into its normal state, not into abnormal state like you become a monster with two limbs now. You got one limbs on the past and you got two limbs on tomorrow. It's a monstrous thing. That's why I think it's very dangerous to self regenerate in kinda not calculated or mastered way. Yeah. So another one for the evolution is the topic of nano evolution. Yeah, those things that very small things that they maybe they are pushing on to us, or maybe uh, they kind of wants to help uh, to solve the problems around us, right. um, if ever we can all have these um, safety healthy nanobots that will automatically self-build our cells, edit our genes, and maybe help us to uh, properly understand things, right? Um, we can evolve both mentally in our and in our bodies. What I mean by this, by evolution, is um, nanoevolution will help everything to grow faster, whether in flesh or a cyborg or a full robot, right? So I guess evolution is really a fascinating thing, whether it's a slow or a fast one, right? Because we're already past the normal evolution is thousands of years. But if we were referring back to intervention, and if there is really a kind of an uh, ancient strong ones, it means it depends on these ancient beings that depends on instincts and intuition rather than a calculation of just like artificial intelligence. It calculates everything, right? With it's precise, but it needs an accuracy still. You gotta be accurate. Just like you're shortening the time to make decisions, and it must be accurate. Just like when you play chess, you don't calculate all variations, but you know from yourself you have this intuition to make that move and to tell yourself that it is really one of the best moves to do. That's what I mean. So we now have the referring back and forth from intervention to evolution, right? I guess it's time for the next, the timeline. Yeah, it's a non-timeline. This kind of refers to the aliens, the extraterrestrials, yeah, extra dimensions, where maybe yeah, magic, super magic exists and we cannot perceive them, but the ability of being to perceive is needed. We needed to wear a headset or change our vibration. If this is true, that we gotta do these things. These things are only options to wear a headset or a tune our vibration to perceive these extra dimensions. Yeah, maybe they're right. 12 dimensions. There are 12 dimensions or more, or thousands of dimensions, right? Or infinite dimensions. Yeah, maybe they're right that also maybe humanity is just really a hidden alien government project, right? If you look at our body, yeah, our body is just a simple kind of thing. We don't really um, go for a hunt after hunt after hunt. We go for a hunt and rest. Maybe that's for the past, and now in this present, which is the future, we go hunt in our uh, small screen, in our computers, mobile phones, consoles, and what they are pushing in our screens. Yeah, the full dive, either VR or via senses, right? If ever that technology will come to at least give us fun or distract us, or yeah, to give us better experience in reality, right? So that is the timeline, the what we call this alien ship. Yeah, not in terms of alien that they say that uh, big head, small body, long hands, six fingers, black eye, mantis, reptilian, etc. What I mean is by this alien kind of thing is unknown, right? We humans are really curious to the unknown. Uh, that's why um, that's why maybe there's a warning of the both above and below, right? In above, there's a warning of the story of Tower of Babel, right? Yeah, that no matter how you build the tower, it will crumble. And so it's gonna be up to us to how to what do we do here on the surface of the earth. And about the below, which is the, yeah, there may be a barrier inside the hollow earth. Yeah. If this is true that there is really an hollow earth, and maybe the hollow earth is the source of this giant genetics, this giant genes, right? If this is true, then having the ice age, we're back to the evolution again. So having the ice age deactivates this pathway or this power source from the inner earth that makes everything giants in the earth. Maybe getting warm, there's a global warming, right? Maybe global warming is activating something, and this kind of virus is a harm to us because we're small and we cannot adapt to our environment unless if we grow from the inner earth, if that is real, if ever that is real, if ever we grow from the inner earth, then we'll be safe because we can adapt. But if we get the virus outside in the surface of the earth, we cannot adapt, right? There's a certain place that we can adapt and we cannot adapt. So this kind of a thing for from intervention, evolution, and timeline. Uh, there are many kinds of basicness from of the multiverse to go beyond. Yeah, well, that's that's why I talk about the levels of it, right? Multiverse, universe, non-timeline, timeline, genuine experiences, and the moments. Yeah, because your moments is just like a one and ones and zeros. Moments, it's like a you fall asleep and it's just 1 second, right? Then you wake up and just really 1 second. It's like tick tock, tick tock. That's the kind of experience, like experience passing by. Yeah, that's how it felt. The experience passing by, but experience that you feel, it's like for eternity. It's like it's like an abundance. You've got that one thing and you feel everything. You feel it. It's for heaven. It's eternity. But experience passing by are just moments, just 1 seconds. That's why nowadays a 1 year is feels 1 second, 1 day for all of us. That's why we gotta reevaluate ourselves. Re yeah, reassess ourselves because our way of living is kind of the pain is more than the pleasure, I think. So that is for the body. If the pain is more than pleasure that is from the body, then the root of the problem is the body, right? But we cannot do anything from the body because if we harm ourselves, we harm our data, our imprint, our sanity, or whatever dimensions are the overlay of our sanity, where is. So what do? We go to multiverse and beyond because we kinda solving the basics of the confusion, basic confusion of intervention, evolution, and non-timeline. We separate them, right? We divide them. We In solving the puzzles, we put the we break it apart. Yeah, we break it apart, the problems, and then we put it together. So we break it apart: intervention, evolution, non-timeline. We refer it back and forth, back to back, and then we combine it to form the solution, or the at least to move on things. If we move on to that, if we combine the intervention, evolution, and timeline, yeah, going back and forth, intervention, evolution, we have the past adaptation into non-timeline. This is our the extra dimensions that were something hidden, something unknown, that either corrupting or intervening in our progress, maybe as an experiment, or maybe as an for a noble, yeah, for the goodness of everything, right? It's either for evil or for the good. Yeah, the if extra dimensions and extra dimensional beings are true, and either they cannot exist in this reality, or they are influencing this reality on somewhat purpose, good or evil, then we can't do anything about that. But we can do rationalize ourselves to the point that if we have that luck and patience, we can escape this kind of a cage thing, or somewhat the universe is limiting us and using us, or coexisting coexisting with us for some purpose. We can go create our own universe for the benefits of us. If we don't like a thing, we don't go there. We do our thing. So, so that's how I think about the multiverse and beyond. Right? You do your thing. Don't like this universe? Don't harm others and yourself. Just put your time to more useful things, like learning what you can learn, and do what you can only do. That's the easiest way to live, right? Even if you do bad stuff, right? But I suggest you do good stuff. Even if you're in pain, yeah, almost every life on earth is in pain, kind of not thriving and just surviving. So I guess that's the lesson from Multiverse and Beyond: to move on, right? To fix this kind of a broken system, yeah, is a very hard thing. There's a lot of going on here: intervention, evolution, and timeline. There's many really no one in control. As they say, no one is control, because no one really wants control. You really want to pleasurize things, and for that you want control, but then it always backfires. Like the more you attach to this world, to this universe, the more you really can't do anything. You can just sit back and enjoy the show. So in this universe, you just sit back and enjoy the show. Both of yourself, both of the others, both of everything on this world. So to go from this universe to the multiverse and beyond, what do I do? What do we do? I think we need to at least activate our thinking a little bit. The imagination, yeah. The imagination to at least uh, we increase the chances uh, of searching for the thing that we really want in our existence. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of a balancing in a Cartesian plane, but you will be the one who will really know what you want for yourself. That's why if you're rich, you have no problem. If you're rich and you're getting what you want, you have no problem. But if you're a poor and limited by this universe, you have at least the chance to go expand yourself from whatever topic, ideas, or things that uh, you can do. At least you can do at least, because you can't really go to the moon. Either unlike the rich that go to the moon or go to the below deep sea, or build a what you call this underground cities, right? We cannot do that. So at least we can imagine ourselves, because I think imagination is the purpose of the multiverse and beyond, right? The initial, you need the basics before you go to complex, so you will not get tripped upon the road. Yeah, you just walk then run. You don't run then walk, because that's kind of give others an opening to attack you. Yeah, right. Uh, so what I'm suggesting is be safe, be explorable or adventurous, right? And be happy on your journey. I think that's it for exploring our multiverse, yeah, right? So I wish you all a happy multiverse day, if ever there is a multiverse day. And I think I talk a lot now. That's a lot. That's it all. And thank you for watching, everyone.